Hey y'all! Well, we're back for another unboxing video, and actually this is going to be a fake unboxing video. I did the real unboxing and I didn't have my microphone turned on, or my phantom power supply for a microphone. So anyway, we're going to redo that video, and I'm going to show you what's in this box. And here's the one we initially reviewed. This was the Aiyima A07 Max, and I gave it a good recommendation. Not great, but sounds decent, especially when you consider the price point, and honestly sounds better than a lot of the budget tube amplifiers that I've worked with. And so, yeah, if you're on a low budget and you need to really consider what you're spending, this isn't a bad option. This may be better. This one's around $200 price point on Amazon. You can get these direct from China, but then the shipping gets you, and then if you do want to return it, it's almost impossible. So I think it's worth spending the extra few bucks getting it from a US source like Amazon. That way, if you don't like it, you can return it without a problem. And so, anyway, Amazon, this is around $200, $210, something like that. I'll put my affiliate link below if you're interested in one of these. Probably should wait until I do my final review on this, but we're going to do the unboxing, compare what you get in the box compared to this little guy, and then do a initial listening subjective kind of evaluation. So let's see what's in this box. Okay, like I said, this is our fake unboxing. You open it up and it's packaged really nice. You get this extra piece of foam here on the top. Then you get the instruction manual, which is pretty short. And I did go online and research, like, oh, is there a more thorough manual on the internet? Nope, just a copy of this. So this is all the instructions they have. They give you this certificate of approval and product warranty card. I'm not sure. 90% of this writing is in Chinese, so I have no idea what you would do with this. Then they also give you this fun little sticker. I guess if you're 13 years old, you could put it on your Trapper Keeper or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so let's look at what's actually in the box. So the first thing out of the box, we're going to pull out the power supply brick, and this is a 48 volt 5 amp power brick, which is a step up from what the other one came with. It comes with, of course, a USA power cord. I'm sure if you're in other countries, it'll come with a power cord for yours. It does say on here that this runs off, multi-voltage like all these power bricks. So, there's no switch or anything. You just plug it in the wall and you're ready to go. But here's what you came for. Let's look at the little amp itself. There it is. Now, I don't know about you, but this is a lot nicer looking unit than this little guy. I like that it's a narrower footprint, because you really want to take up the horizontal room on your tabletop or whatever you're using. I like that this is narrower. That just makes more sense to me. Gives you more room to put other stuff on your rack or whatever on that shelf. And so let's look on the back. Again, on this lower budget one, it's got a auxiliary out, which is a sub out basically. And then you've got RCA ends, and you've got your power brick and your speaker jacks, and that's it. Okay, on this little guy, we got a plethora of different connections on the back. We got XLR in, we got RCA in, we got an RCA sub out, because most people are going to use an RCA cable to hook up to their active sub. And so to me that makes a lot more sense than trying to find some weird cable that's RCA on one end, and like, is this a stereo jack, is this a mono jack? I don't know, so yeah, I like this, that it's an RCA on the back. The other thing it has is it's got a switch that's a 3 dB boost on the RCA. And I guess if you have a weak source, the old, mini plug terminal on your phone that you're going to this, or off a laptop or something that maybe doesn't have a lot of drive. It's got a boost switch, which I didn't need to use. And then it's got a 12-volt trigger, which I'm assuming you could use to turn on other equipment. And then it's got a low-pass filter adjustment from 150 hertz to 600 hertz. And we'll talk about that more in a minute. And then here are your speaker jack layouts. I do kind of like the way they're staggered like this. It makes it easier if you're going to use bare wires to insert them, because they're on this one, they're like at angles, and so you can come in like this way and this way, and just be careful you're not shorting out, this one to this one, and you should be fine. But most people use banana plugs, and they go in the end here, or you could put spades on it, so it's a 3-way kind of a thing, or 5-way, whatever, I don't know what they call those things. It's got a push on off and switch between RCA and XLR, and then to turn it off you just hold it a second and it turns off. So this is kind of neat that it's got this very tactile little on off click, where this one you push it 6 of one, half does the other. It does do a switch between RCA and XLR by a push, and you'll see the LEDs on the front light up. There's a power, there's RCA, XLR. So, given this is a fake unboxing, you know that I've already listened to this thing versus this one. First of all, you get a nicer power brick. And I know when I reviewed this one initially, people were saying, oh, you need to upgrade the power brick to a 48 volt one. Well, it comes with a 36 volt one, right? So you're spending 80, 85 bucks. I think these are retail. Sometimes you can find them on sale, but that's about what they sell for. Then you're going to have to buy another power brick. And probably going to spend another $25 or $30 to get another one of those, unless you order it from China and wait for, 3 months. So then you've got, $110, $120 in this one, and you're halfway to buying this one. Now, they're rated at the same power level, but I will say that this one seems to have more drive to it than this guy does. This one also has some kind of something feedback. I'll put it up here, some kind of specialized feedback loop. I don't know what that's all about, but I do know that listening to these, I like the way this unit sounds better. The bass seemed more controlled, and I don't know if it's just better at controlling the woofer than this one is, better dampening factor, or I don't know exactly what's going on. And yeah, I decided I'm not measuring this stuff. I tried it with my Analog Discovery 2, even with the new breakout board that has the grounds all separated. Still was acting weird. I don't want to fuzz my Analog Discovery 2. I'm not going to be working on these things enough to worry about. Plus, there's a zillion people that have done testing on these things that you can get the measurements from. And if mine are 5 watts off from them, I'll have comments fill up. So I'm just going to give you subjective what it sounds like. And again, I think it's worth spending the extra money to get this one. Now, I was driving this with my Topping E70, which has RCA and XLRs, and need to do a little further testing just to be sure, but just on a quick A/B test, they sounded the same to me. But then again, my RCA cables are like 1.5 feet long because the DAC sits right next to it. And so, don't think that the XLRs are a huge deal. Possibly if you were going to do something like put this remotely, or you had, 30 feet of cables between your DAC in this box, and you wanted to have, like the DAC sitting next to you from your listening position, and having this on the other side of the room, and using the volume control on the DAC to control this, that may be important to you. I did also try like turning my DAC wide open and using this volume control, and then tried turning this wide open and then using my DAC's volume control, and honestly, they sounded the same to me. So if you wanted to use the volume control on your DAC, like my E70 has an actual volume control that's not digital. It's got some sort of a preamp done kind of volume control that's not supposed to negatively impact the sound, which in my experience it doesn't. And so if you have something like that Topping E70 and you want to use it for your volume control, it actually seemed to work better at low volume levels. One thing I've noticed with both of these, if they're used in like a desktop setting or very near field where the speakers are like real close to you, that if you're trying to like adjust the volume down at the very bottom end of the control, it's real notchy. I mean, it jumps up in like steps. It's not an analog kind of curve where my E70 is. It's very linear. And so that would be something to consider. If you were using this near field, you might want to use something else for the volume control. But at normal listening levels, you know, when you're going for 80 dB in the room and the speakers are, you know, 8 or 10, 15 feet away from you, that the range you're going to be working in works perfectly fine. I found this one needed the volume control set about halfway, where I was getting about the same sound pressure level in the room with this one at a third of the way up. So, high powered brick, lower powered brick. I did try this higher powered brick on the little unit just to see if there was any kind of sonic change or improvement, and I didn't really hear anything. And maybe if you're really trying to get all the power this thing has, or you're pushing it further into the distortion curve, this might help. What I mentioned in the last video, that the bass sounded kind of flappy or just loose. It wasn't real tight and punchy. Changing the power brick didn't change that dynamic. And so, just going to put that out there. And again, some people said you need 2 of these set in mono to really get the good out of them. And then, you know, get 2 of these 48 volt bricks with a pair of these set in mono. Well, they've just gone past what this thing costs. So, I'm recommending getting this A70. So, what do these sound like? And let's forget about this one. I've already talked about this guy. What does this guy sound like compared to one of my tube amps? It's still not there. It's not bad. I mean, it sounds pretty good just for an out-of-the-box deal. But I still think it's kind of teetering on whether that's really hi-fi or not. And in the comments on this one, this isn't my language. This is what somebody else said, but it really struck a chord with me. They said that it sucks the life out of the music. And that's kind of what it does to me. There's just something about it that's missing. And I can't put my finger on it. And, you know, if it was in a vacuum and this was all I had, it would be great. But I've got better. But I will say that for $200, this stomps all over like a Rysong A12 or even a Rysong A50, which is was $1,000. I think they're selling them now for $800, 300 B amp. But then you got to go buy hundreds of dollars worth of tubes to try to fix, and this still sounds better than it if you're not going to do the DIY mods on it. So, given this is a DIY channel, as you can see, we got my soldering iron here, my little LCR meter. DIY is what we do here. And so, what can we try with this? Well, one of the viewers mentioned Sparkos, and I think they reached out to that company, and then I got an email from Andrew Spark, the owner, and we had a couple hour long conversation about audio, just all kinds of stuff. And he offered to send me some of their op amps to put in either one of these. And I told him I really like this A70. Wasn't sure what was inside it. I know some of them have like a left and right channel op amp, and then they've got another one for the XLR. So he sent 3 op amps, and spoiler, I've been inside this thing, and that's going to be the next video we do. Takes 2 op amps, and that's a potential to really take this thing to the next level. And I know some of you said, why are you getting into these things? This is like a minefield, and I agree. And this isn't something that I want to get in a bunch of debating with people on about, you don't know what you're talking about, that you could, some guy commented, I guess you could throw away all your tube amps now, and I just eye rolled. It's like, you get no idea. But I'm trying to find some affordable audio at the lower end of the spectrum. We're not looking for cheap audio. There's somebody that's already got a YouTube channel about that, so we're not going there. I'm trying to find affordable audio. And by that I mean something we can get into at under $500 that maybe we've got to do a little DIY stuff to get it there. And these out of the box don't do it for me. We're still not there. But got some op amps to try. We're going to do that in the next video. And I think it's going to be fun to see if we can come up with some reasonably priced audio for folks that are just getting started into this that really sounds nice. So I think this is a good place to wrap up this video. I want to thank all you Patreon supporters, also you folks that make donations at the website. I want to also say that, yes, they gave me these products. I didn't go out and buy these, and I try to tell people when that happens. But I promise you guys, that's not influencing what I'm saying. I'm not trying to get more of this stuff because I don't need any of this gear, and it's not that expensive to start with. So it's not like I'm going to, ruin my reputation over a $200 chip amp. So I hope y'all get that. Anyway, again, thanks to all you folks that are subscribed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. All it takes is a click of the button. It has no impact on you, but it helps my channel grow. We're now at 14,000 subs, which I'm super excited about. And it seems to be really on a roll, so that's great. And again, thanks to you folks that make donations at the website. When I've given you advice that's helped you out, I really appreciate that. And soon we'll be doing the op amp replacement video on this little guy. And until then, have a nice day.